Hello and welcome to Pristine Tech School channel. I am very excited to explain the concepts of inline function in C++ programming language. So what is inline function? It is one of the important feature of C++. So let's first understand why inline functions are used and what is the purpose of inline function. So inline functions are C++ enhancement feature. To increase the execution time of a program, functions can be instructed to compiler to make them inline so that compiler can replace those function definitions wherever those are being called. Similar like regular function, but by applying keyword inline, regular function become inline function. So let's see the example of inline function. So now first I am creating header files. And then I am creating one function with the name of display. Then I'm creating the main function, that is main entry point of every program. In this function I'm going to call the display function. So let's see, compile the program, successfully compile and run the program. So it's giving me the output that this is a regular function. So you are very familiar with the regular function. That's a simple function. So if I want to create this function as inline function, simply I am going to apply the keyword inline before the function, that is inline void display. Now similarly I am going to compile the program and run the program. So this is the output. So basically what is the use of inline function? It takes a very less time to execute and compile the program. So this is basically for the compiling. That takes a very little time. As I am using the Turbo IDE, so here there is not display any time, that how much time is covered to compile the program. But if you are using some other IDE, you can notice down the time taken by compiler to run the function. So then you can differentiate both the regular function and inline function. So this is a small example of inline function. So there are some points that should be noticed for this inline function. Inline function going to create for the small functions only, like multiply, adding. But if you are doing a lot of like concept that are having the more number of line codes, and if you are using looping or recursion functions, then in that case we are not going to use the inline function. So this is basically for the small functions only. So that's all about the inline function. And guys, I very frequently upload videos on various technologies. I also create videos considering the interview questions in mind. If you have any particular topic on which you want me to create detailed video, let me know in the comment section below. Now, by moving further, our next concept is friend function. So what is friend function? It is a function is defined as a friend function then the private and the protected data of a class can be accessed using the function. The compiler knows a given function is a friend function by the use of keyword friend. So let's first discuss some small things, like I'm having this is one of the class, like this is class A and this is class B, and here is the object of class A and object of class B. So assume that in class A we are having the data, say in data 1 and data 2. Similarly, having the function with the name of function, and in other class I am having similarly data and functions. So this function is public, this comes in public access. So now this function having the right that they can refer these data that are protected data or private data. This function having the right that it can access this data. Like this is having the access to this private data. Similarly, this function is also having the access to this private data. But if in some case that we need to having the access of this function to this data, and this function should have access to this private data. So this is like these functions are accessing the data from different class, and that data is private, and this function that is under the class B want access from class A that are having private data, data 1 and data 2. But this access is not possible. So to make this access possible, we going to use friend function. So this is how we can use the friend function, by using the keyword friend only. So this is the concept we going to discuss by example. Let's move to the example. So first I'm going to create class A in which I'm creating variables that are private, like data 1 and data 2, and then I'm creating constructor of class A, that is default constructor, and then constructor of class A with some parameters like int A and int B. Data2 equals to B. And then I'm creating one display function in which I'm creating one friend function with the name of multiply. Then data1 I'm creating the variable result. I'm displaying the result. Now in main function I'm creating the object of class A So now first let's see okay, so here's a little problem. We have to create here only body of the void display, like only declaration, sorry, not the body. Okay, so now let's again, okay, it's successfully compiled. Okay, so it's giving me the output, that is first 100 and then 200 and 20,000. So this is how. Let's see. First we created the class A having the private data members data1 and data2, and in public I'm creating the constructor. One is default constructor and second one is parameterized constructor, and here I'm initializing the values. And then I'm creating the only declaration of the functions, that is one void display and then friend void multiply, in which I'm passing the class A. And then I'm creating here void A. So what is the difference between the friend function and the regular function? In my regular function I am particularly writing here the scope resolution. So in regular function we can create the scope resolution and call that any function, but in case of friend function we're not going to create the scope resolution because it's not coming in the scope of any class. So this is how we can create the void A, scope, display, and calling to both variables. And then we are using the friend function in which I am creating the class object like A, small a, and here result. So this is how we can use the friend function using dot operator by calling the A dot private members data1 and data2, and here is the result. So this is how for our regular function I am creating the object of A and displaying the values in that, like obj dot display. But for friend function, we're not going to use that concept. We are just call that function multiply, and the object we're going to pass in the parenthesis. So this is how we can do the friend functions to access the private members of any class. So you have to notice down that we're not going to create any scope of resolution because friend function is not come in any scope. So this is all about inline function, friend function in C++ programming language. So guys, there is also link for Facebook page and blog link in the description below. You can refer there and other concepts of C, C++ and Java. And I hope this video will be very helpful for you. If you like the video, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel. We are very frequently upload the videos, and press the bell icon so that you get notified whenever there is another super helpful tutorial. Have a good day ahead.